everyone, it's Catherine here from Inky Finger Cat. I'm going to make a birthday card. I have some old DSP and I had a bit of a fussy cutting session a while ago, partly for I do Crafty Hazelnuts pattern paper challenge. I'm on the design team and I do that every month. And this year I basically took a piece of DSP and I've done some fussy cutting, and that's the plan. So I have a pouch that has all of the bits and pieces in it. I've already done that project. That project will have been shared on my blog on the 1st of January. I'm filming this before the 1st of January. So I'm going to not put this out for quite some time. It'll have to just be sitting there scheduled to go out on my blog at some point. But I just wanted to play with it. It's that simple. So I have a couple of large images left, which are identical. So I'm thinking I'll only use one of those. Okay. I have some edge pieces. I've got the yellowy orange pieces. I think I'm going to leave those yellow, orange and whites for another project. I think that's all of those pieces. So that leaves these 3 pieces, which I might end up using on this project, or I might not. Who knows? Might just use one. Who knows? Right, I'm going to leave those yellow and orange white ones because I don't think they go with the pink, even though it's clearly off the same DSP. They aren't identical because on this one I've kept the yellow in. That one I haven't, so I'm going to put that one in the pouch. Right, I'm going to put that to one side. Now, I have a piece of the DSP left. See, it's the same DSP. Look, that's that image. But on the other side, it's got this fab pattern. And I'm wondering whether I just use that. Whether I just use those 2 bits. And then on my desk, I've got some black scrap cardstock. Do you know what? That. With that on top. With some dimension. I've just realised I was off camera, sorry. That with some dimension makes it into a nice big spray. And then I just put happy birthday across. Oh, do you know what? This might be the quickest card in the world. So, those who've seen my videos before know I don't do a huge amount of planning when I craft. I just get on with it. Just get on with it and do it. Make me decisions. You get to see the decision making on camera. I chat completely inanely about random stuff that's going on in my life. And that's how that works, basically. There is never a huge amount of planning, basically. There's usually enough planning to go, what shall I play with today? Right, stick the video on. That's basically the scale of it. Sometimes when I craft, I do lots of planning. In fact, so let's talk about planning. Okay, and when I do and when I don't. I'm on a few design teams. Sometimes I love doing design team work, sometimes I hate it. What I love is organised in advance, because I know I've got pressure on me to have to do something, to have to create. So then I do planning. So I will share with you some of my planning tips in a minute. But days like today, I'm not doing one of those projects. I am literally just playing because I've got some time. I want to clear the head a little bit. So I absolutely do not need to plan this. And for better or worse, you get to witness that, because that's generally when I stick the video on. There are amazing crafters out there who share with you tips and techniques, and they're planned, and they're beautifully edited videos. I'm not one of those people. A, it's not my job. So I have a full-time job that keeps me incredibly busy, that requires me to be organised, that requires me to have a lot of things going on at once, that I know what's going on, etc. Well, in my free time, I just don't want to be doing that. I'm automatically regretting I need to actually lift this back up again, because I need, let's hope it's not stuck, to just bring that in a bit. It was just a wee bit too far over the edges. So what we don't want is not to be able to put the card in an envelope. Right, that'll do. Right, re-glue this. But yeah, I don't want to have to, for my playtime, which is what this is, be stressed or be thinking about it in the same way as I have to for my work, which is why I have a love-hate relationships with my design team stuff. The design team stuff I love doing, but only if I can be ahead of schedule. I hate letting people down, so sometimes if I've not been ahead of schedule and then life gets really, really busy and I struggle then to create for the design team what I would have wanted to create. That's not straight, Catherine. Oh goodness, this is not going to plan though. There we go. So yeah, I hate not being able to create what it is I would have wanted to have created for the design team if life got busy in the meantime. So I only really enjoy design teams where I can get myself ahead of schedule. So one of the things that I've done for that is, I know Crafty Hazelnuts pattern paper. If there's only one rule, use pattern paper. You can do whatever project you want, just use some pattern paper. So I went through, I know I'm going to be on the design team for probably the next year. I mean, maybe Hazel will kick me off. Maybe she will, maybe she won't. But I know I'm going to be on it for at least a year. So I went ahead and I used Sketch Mayhem book. So the ones you can get off Amazon are not this size. I think they are the smaller size. I don't think he's got these. He put it on the wrong size at the beginning, but it doesn't really matter. It's exactly the same thing. But, so for example, this will go up after I've created the card. So I can't share with the card that I've done. I've already given it to somebody. Gave it to my mum to use. But using this paper, I wanted some elements. As it turns out, this is not going drastically differently. This is just going with the last one had a sort of a smaller strip down the middle, and then it was sort of a red card. But yeah, this was my plan, using these flowers, have some sticks sticking out the sides, which I've done with this one. I would have black because it's got the black base on the DSP, so I'd have black with it. This was how I'd design it, and it pretty much ended up looking like that. In fact, if I'm clever, I'll insert a copy of what the picture of the card they actually made that was using this. But how fabulous is this? So this gives you an opportunity to sketch out what you fancy as your idea as your card sketch. Add any colours, add in any products, any measurements that you might want to do. I'm never that detailed, that's for certain. And I have done it for other ones. So I've got ahead already on my projects for the whole year for my Crafty Hazelnuts pattern paper. Some of them have gone into more detail than others. But yeah, isn't it a fabulous idea? So I love this. I've not used it very much so far. I've used it mainly for planning out that design team project. Would I use it for this kind of crafting? No, probably not. I craft because it helps me to chill out in my own head and concentrate on just one thing at a time, which is completely different from how the rest of my life is. So no, I probably wouldn't end up using it for this kind of crafting. But for that kind of thing, it means I've got that planned. It means I can produce quite quickly what I want to produce meeting the criteria for that particular challenge, perfect. Then I can get ahead. I do a few months ahead of time. I don't get stressed about the design team. Then I love design teams. The ones where I struggle are more the ones where you've got a very specific criteria, and perhaps I'm thinking of those where you've got digital images. Some are less organised than others. The one that I've been working with for a little while, Creative Knockouts, ahead of schedule most of the time, a good few months or certainly several weeks ahead of schedule, that I'm less stressed about because we're ahead of time. If that was to suddenly be like other ones I've been on the past where you're only getting the digital image a week before the challenge, I can't cope because I can't put myself under that pressure to keep going and keep having it in the right, in time and all the rest of it. So I've sort of paused. I'm really happy already with this. This is already a really pretty card. And as far as I'm concerned, it just needs something on the top saying happy birthday. I am making happy birthday cards because I'm currently very low in my stock of happy birthday cards. Now, on another project, I die cut the word happy twice and used the negative part of it, which left me with 2 lots of each of these letters. Do I want to add them as my sentiment? And if I do, how do I want it doing? Do I want it? I don't want it in a line. That's not what I'm feeling at the moment. I'm thinking I want it a bit higgledy-piggledy. Happy, and then birthday. I think I do want it like that. So yeah, so I had these. Probably made the project a couple of weeks ago. I stacked them. I've just stuck them on the bottom, on the side of my desk, because I knew I would end up using them at some point. So might as well keep them. Might as well have them ready to use. And that to me is a bit of a top tip. If you know that you are going to use the word happy at some point, and you have die cut a negative happy, keep the inserts, get them ready, and then they're ready to use as a nice, quick and easy way of creating a card. Now I like to stack my die cuts to be at least 2, especially if I'm using Whisper White. No, it's not called Whisper White now, it's called Basic White, but your plain basic white cardstock from Stampin' Up. It's a bit thinner. They do the thicker width version that's better for using for things like card blanks and stuff. But the one that you would do most of your stamping onto, which is a lovely quality of cardstock, but it isn't the thickest. So especially if I'm using that, I like to do more than 1 die just to give it that bit more stability. To be honest, I usually do 3, but for this one I only had 2, so I've only done 2. And I think that looks really pretty on there. I'm still wanting to put that upward dimension, but I don't want to fiddle with it just yet because I'm still contemplating how to finish this off. Well, what we know we need is the word birthday. So I actually made this card blank again several weeks ago when I die cut those happies, because I had a big A4 card blank. Never use A4 card blanks, so I created 2 other card blanks out of it instead and had some leftover pieces. Roll, I think. Love this stamp set. Biggest Wish. Just love it. It's just one of my favourite ever stamp sets. But I'm thinking if I put birthday in black on here and then fussy cut it out, that'll look really cute on there. Right, I am going to use my stamp platform because just in case the black is not as juicy as I would like it to be, although I think my Memento's okay at the moment. I know it was a bit grey last time I used it, so I think I'm right to do this. I am just gonna move my light away. Use my stamp platform. Just realised my stamp platform's on the long way around. I need it on the clear side because it's a clear stamp. But just allows me to stamp it multiple times if indeed it is grey or I don't do a great job with the ink, like just so. Nice. That's a nice black image now. And I'm going to fussy cut it. Just clean off my stamp whilst I'm here. Try my hardest to stay clean and tidy as I'm crafting, but I just find it very hard to do so. So yeah, I am, when I'm just crafting for fun like this, I mean, there is a purpose. I need some birthday cards making, but when I'm just crafting for fun like this, planning goes out the window. But when I've got something specific like the design team, I really like to be organised and know what it is I've got to do, get ahead of schedule if possible. So Crafty Hazelnuts planned for the whole year. I've not made the whole years, don't get me wrong. I've made a couple ahead of time. I think I've done at this stage. So let's be honest, we are in October. You won't be seeing this in October. But in October, I have made January's and February's. So it just gives me that little bit of lack of pressure. What other design teams am I on? I'm on Happy Little Stampers. And that one I have made all the way up until the end of December. I have not yet made any for next year. So we'll probably need a bit of a planning session around that one. Because I'm on 2 of those design teams. Now, one of them is Anything Goes with Dies. I mean, I could use this one, this card, and have this as my design team contribution. I'm not going to because I've not thought about that. So it could be Anything Goes with Dies, or it could be the birthday one, because I'm also on the birthday team one as well. Am I happy with that? I think I am. Do I want it there instead? And then maybe something here. Just having a little scoot in my... I have a little tray that's just got random bits in it. Do I want any ribbons? Don't think I want ribbon. Right, I think what I'm going to do is raise this up now. So I am going to start faffing with that. I have shared this on previous vlogs, but I basically use children's craft foam, which I get in a massive packet like this. I don't really care what colour I'm going to use, but I am going to use pink since it's a pink colour I'm doing. It really doesn't matter. Such a cheap and easy way to add dimension over larger spaces in particular, because if I used, you know, like little foam dimensional adhesive squares or whatever, that would just take ages to do each one, and they get to be really expensive. Whereas this way, I mean, I can't even remember how much it costs, but it's a couple of pounds maybe for that massive pack of craft foam. Lasts me ages. I do sometimes use the sticky dimensionals, but not that often. I also find the sticky dimensionals, can you see how thick they are? So these are the ones that are from Hobbycraft. This is slimmer. So you might go, well, I don't want as much dimension as these sort of things add, because sometimes it just feels a little bit excessive. Whereas that is the perfect amount, I think, for underneath this. It raises it up, doesn't raise it up a huge amount. Actually, the person who's receiving the card can tell it's been raised, but it doesn't matter that it was bright pink underneath because they can't see that. It's perfectly hidden. Part of me wants to do something with this black. So I've just paused again because my head's going, Catherine, do something with that black. I don't know what. I just think it looks a little bit dull. No. Contemplated sewing. Don't think I want to sew. How come when I take something out my drawer, I then can't close it? Oh, let's listen it. There we go. Contemplating just adding a little pierced border. Okay. Alright, I am probably going to fast forward this because I don't think I'll talk whilst I'm doing this. Okay, I decided not to do the whole thing because I was going to pierce all the way down there as well, but I actually just think just those little dots, I don't even know if you can see them on the video, but there's just some tiny little dots there. Quite often when it comes to crafting, I do these things that are tiny little details that take me ages, or sometimes I just faff overdoing. Nobody is going to notice. And I do wonder, why do I do it? But sometimes it just makes me happy. And I just felt like that black was just not quite doing it for me. I am still contemplating whether I like this pink or not. As in, on here, and whether to do something different as the birthday. So I'm still contemplating that. But I do like this. I think it's time to commit to part of this card. So the first thing I'm going to do to commit to, and this has become a word that I've used on a few videos now, I'm going to commit to this, is this element here on the front. Now, because that happy is wibbly wobbly, doesn't matter if it's not completely straight, but I quite like my A and my H. I think my H is on a slight one compared to my A and my P and my Y, but there you go. It's a handmade card. And again, who's going to notice? Am I going to notice? Not really. Not once I've given it. It's disappeared then. Now, do I want this element to be raised up as well or not? I think I do. So again, this is where craft foam comes in really handy, because you absolutely do not want to be sticking all of this down loads of times using all of those dimensionals up. That is absolutely not what you want to be doing. That's going to cost you a fortune, or it's not going to sit nice and securely. It's going to have gaps in it, and it will sort of like dip in the post and stuff. This way, one piece of foam. Again, no one's going to see it. Nobody knows what it is that you've stuck behind there. But it's all raised, all nice and secure. And here we go. Time to commit. Probably should have used a bit of liquid glue just to give it a bit of wriggle room, but that I love. I love it. Right, I'm not happy with the pink. That pink, not pleasing me. Going to stick that to one side. Going to instead go for a different stamp set. I'm not going to use my favourite stamp set. I think I want a smaller birthday. I don't think I want it fussy cutting. So I have a very old stamp set here called For My Family, which has got all like names of relations and stuff, but it has got a happy birthday. And I'm thinking that onto some white cardstock. Oops. And there we go, got a scrap of white. Do it in black. Perfect. So it does already say happy. I am going to do a very quick fix of sticking that over it so that the happy part will not get inked when I ink it. Oh, now we did discover that the memento was not particularly juicy, so let's use VersaFine. So you can see there that the Y bit. Now take the washi tape off, stick it down. Don't stick your washi tape somewhere where you're going to then smudge yourself and get the ink on yourself. That would be clever. Now, yes, I'm much happier with that. I think it brings in the white from those letters. Probably going to end up using my scissors just to do this by eye, but let's see if we can get it. I think that's going to be too far away. Yeah, I think it's okay. Ta-da! Much happier with that. That just looks better. I do think I need to just trim a bit off the edge. Still a wee bit too. Now, do I want to mount it? Nope, I just want to stick it down. Okay. Do you think now I've stuck that bit off the edge, it's not quite square? Happy. Are we happy with that? I think we are very happy with that. And do you know what? Quite an easy card to put together, I think. Could it have been easier? Of course it could. Could have had a plan. Is that the point? No, it's not the point. Not the point at all. Right, I'm just having a little hunt in my little boxes of embellishments. Now, these are non-Stampin' Up, so they're random colours. I'm just wondering if that's too much of a... No, they're not quite the right pinks. Just don't know if I've got any that are the right pinks. Maybe those ones. Let's go with those ones. I just try to use up what I've got. I think just add 3 this time. I'm normally a 5 gem person when it comes to this size of card, but let's just go with 3 for the moment and see what happens. Oh, I don't know, I think I want 2 more. Okay. I think 1 more on that level, 1 more there. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so the way I'm a 5 person. I just struggle to open up 3. Especially when it's a 5x7 sort of sized card. I just think sometimes it just needs that. I really love that. I am super happy with that card. Some nice dimension to it, but it's not over the top. Having said that, there are 2 layers of foam by the time you get to that middle bit, so it is quite thick. But it would be a large letter card anyway. In terms of stamps, I tend to put large letter stamps on most of my cards these days because I do like them with dimension, and it just means that there's no issue. It's definitely going to go fine in the post. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. There's one thing I'm contemplating, and that's just, do I want to add some Wink of Stella to those letters? So I'm just going to add this Wink of Stella, just because it just makes them that wee bit more special, doesn't it, than the plain white, with them having this nice iridescent, well, not iridescent, what is it? It's I suppose it's like a champagne-y colour glimmer on it. Just gives them that bit of shimmer, bit of sparkle. Again, these are the sorts of things that, unless I happen to be giving this card to a crafter, and at the point that I'm built, I have no idea who's going to be the recipient of this card at the point that I'm doing it. But yeah, unless I'm giving it to a crafter, nobody else is going to notice, but I will. I know I've done it, and I'm happier with that. I actually don't even think you can see it on the video, but I promise you it is there. So I'm done. Obviously you're not going to have seen this for months after I've made it, but I hope you enjoyed my little video. I'm wondering, would you have stuck with the pink, or did I make the right decision to go with the little white type? I'm happier with the white type, but you know, who knows? There was alternatives. Right, give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed, give it a thumbs down if you didn't, leave me a comment below, something nice, anything nasty gets deleted, because there's no need for nastiness in the world. That's how it works. And I'd say subscribe. No idea how frequently I'm going to put videos out, so subscribe is probably a good idea, because it's not going to be I'm not someone that you see on a daily basis. I'm not one of those kinds of video crafters. I just share whenever I feel like it. So I would suggest subscribing. At least it'll pop up in your feed that way. And until next time, goodbye.